New Year's resolutions 2026, even though it's February. So yeah, even though it's February, I think it's a good idea to do these New Year's resolutions because I think at the end of the year it's cool to look back on them, and even though 1 month is already gone and I don't know, spoiler I guess, I haven't achieved these resolutions so far, like for this month. I want to give myself to put them out there and to have them somewhere where I can review them next year and see how far I've come, etc. I have these categories that you can see here, and Zusatzbescheinigung, German, which are kind of related, fitness, appearance, which are also kind of related, writing documentation, and then exploring, and money, entrepreneurship, that are optional because they were also last year's resolutions, but I didn't accomplish any of the two. So here I'm setting them again to have the intention there, but with a little bit less, with less ambition, even though they weren't ambitious at all, with a notch less of ambition, so that and with that optionality in it to see it's if I have some free time, for example, at the end of the year my Zusatzbescheinigung is gone, so maybe then I have Urlaub, or I can fit more things within my days or whatever, we'll see. So maybe there, if options open up for optionality, then take them, or just to have them in mind, but to not be okay, I must do these things. It's more okay, if I have time for it, to at least have the mind open to them, so that it's something that I can default onto to work on, or something like this. And the categories are these, and the first one is Zusatzbescheinigung. Zusatzbescheinigung, if you don't know, I'm working to be a train driver. I'm studying for it, better said, and in Germany, and this is what the German companies, the German rail operators require of Triebfahrzeugführer, which is train drivers, to drive. And I'm studying for this one, and all of the resolutions are structured also in North Star and concrete. The text, if it's cringe, is because it's made with AI, or helped made with AI. But the reason why I have a North Star and concrete is because some resolutions were really concrete, some were really vague, and I wanted to have a bridge. So for the resolutions that were concrete, I added some kind of North Star, and for the ones that were concrete, for the ones that were too vague, which were kind of the North Star in itself, I added a little bit more concreteness to them. And for the Zusatzbescheinigung, that one was a resolution that was pretty concrete, aka pretty defined. You could say it's pass this exam. So I guess it got concretified into, it got North Starified into something be prepared enough to the Zusatzbescheinigung, right? It's kind of that's a little bit of an abstract thing to feel prepared, but it is what leads to getting it, right? So, or not leads to, because everything can happen, but it's what gets you better set up for that. So for this, the concrete things are kind of inspired with my I would say more or less successful resolution of last year in the fitness realm, which were to go to the gym a couple of times a week, but they weren't explicitly said which times per week, right? So here I'm doing a similar thing, having two study blocks per week of more or less the intensity that they should be, around an hour, right? To sit down for an hour to review, etc. Or to review, or to create a new document, or to add new cards to Anki, whatever. And then to have some continuity into the next thing, into the next session. And that's it, basically. Here it writes also did I hit 2 blocks in at least 3 or 4 weeks, right? It's to be able to be check into if I'm actually achieving the things, right? For example, for the fitness, I didn't achieve 2 days per week every week, right? For example, when I went in vacation, I didn't achieve it, but during the year overall, I'd say it's successful because I did achieve that. So that's kind of the first New Year resolution that I have for 2026. The second one related to it is the German, right? But it's a little bit extended because, for example, the Zusatzbescheinigung the exam is like not easy, not trivial. It has like difficult parts, and it will also require German, bettering my German for the explaining things. But I have a bigger North Star, which is something that actually like makes me a little bit anxious about, like, after I passed the exam, right? How do I make sure that I can deal with like the uncertainty that comes with the job, right? The job is like pretty simple. It's like driving, stopping, etc. But when something goes wrong, that's when you need to be prepared, right? So this is kind of like the worst case scenario, right? Understand the Fahrdienstleiter or like the Leitstelle when they tell you some orders with a weird accent over a radio that doesn't sound really well, right? Talking fast about something that's like not common, right? So without freezing. That's kind of like the North Star, to be able to capture the information or like to work within that frame, right? And these are some kind of quick resolutions that ChatGPT came up with, which are like a couple of times a week do some ugly audio thing, and once a week do some kind of like speak back thing, and yeah, then monthly proof is like some other thing that it came up with. I'm mostly focusing on these things, right? On like ugly audio, but the monthly proof is good to check on progress, you could say. Then fitness. These are like my resolutions from last year, basically, which is stay consistent with physical activity and don't lose the habit. I guess like the real North Star is to make my body look a certain way. It's like related to appearance, right? But the North Star within fitness, it's actually like more to stay consistent and something like this, right? To keep the consistency that I've actually kept through this past year. So yeah, concretely is basically the same thing that I've been doing: 2 strength days plus 1 cardio day. That I hadn't done. So yeah, that's kind of it, right? And then another extra goal, because the fitness is also like body related, right? Is to notice the food patterns, because I've noticed that even though I have kept consistent with the strength, etc., I want to add the cardio and I want to watch the food, because I have gotten actually a little bit fatter and not like 100% due to me building so much muscle and like being so hot or whatever, right? It's more like, yo, I've been eating too much. So yeah, I've added like these guardrail patterns that ChatGPT said, like limiting sweets or like not going to bed stuffed, which has been happening, or like limit sweet drinks or beer. I already kind of do this, so probably one of the other two, right? Then appearance. There are like 3 categories: hair removal, style, and voice. And hair removal, the North Star that it wrote, it's something like my face body feels cleaner and more aligned or whatever. I'm not stuck in almost done limbo forever, because I've been kind of like not keeping up with my laser sessions that it should be once a month. On the latter half of the year, I didn't do it. So I did it only when I came to Spain in August and in December, January. So I want to keep up with laser this year and to be able to be like, okay, I'm not almost done with laser, I'm actually like there, right? Like you can see, right? Like, then style. I can dress in a way that feels like me in public, no costume, blah blah blah, and then keep a simple photo album. This goal is actually something that I already do. That's why I kept it. I already like take a lot of pictures of what I wear outside. And voice, I want to combine this with German to be like, yeah, the North Star here is something like, in stressful moments, I sound calm, clear, and competent, no freeze voice or whatever. So yeah, I don't know, some additional goal to this, and the practice is combined with the other thing, right? It's like, here it says 3 times a week, here it says once a week, but to me, it's kind of like the same thing, right? Then, writing documentation. On the last year, the goals were like 100 journal entries. I think I failed. unless I count ChatGPT as a journal entry or whatever. So in this case, I want something more accessible, right? More retrievable, which is like, my year doesn't vanish into fog. Future me can quickly find what happened and what mattered. And the concrete one is like one breadcrumb per month. It's like a diary entry, a voice memo. Well, I'm basically going with diary entry and status update. The other three are like things that ChatGPT suggested. But I'm going mostly with my video status updates, which are like pretty defined. They are like doubly retrievable because they have like the written part plus the YouTube part, and they're also like, I don't know, I've already done them, right? So that's probably like what's coming next week on Sunday next week. And then next resolutions, two next resolutions are optional. These were also like in the past year, but I've adapted them a little bit in order to fit my current situation better. Like, because the priority are more or less like this, right? I want to first hit the Zusatzbescheinigung and the German, right? Which are, to me, are kind of like tight. And the German, as you can see, are like not very big resolutions. They are like only a couple of minutes or they're like 30 minutes per week or something like this. So it's just going to be like a short live stream or something like this, right? Meanwhile, the fitness thing, for example, the fitness thing and the appearance things are the next things on the list. Then the writing documentation, and then if after all the other things I still have time, or I find like gaps in my schedule, or I find like I have the energy to do these things, or I'm bored on the weekends or something, I can be like, okay, let's work on these other projects. And for example, when I'm doing all of the other things, for example, the appearance things or going to the gym, because I'm going to have to change gyms from February on. So then I have like more opportunities to explore, and it's like to keep this as a North Star, right? To keep this kind of disposition towards new places, right? So that I don't become too routine, so that I don't feel like I don't know my city, right? Munich is my city now. So I feel like, I feel like this sense of duty to know it, that this duty to know it that I didn't do in Spain, right? In Spain, I didn't have kind of a duty to know my town or anything. I never actually did it. So here I want to change that, right? I wanted to change that since the past year, but the past year it was like a little bit too ambitious. It was more like not just my city, it was more in general, right? I wanted to explore Germany in general, or like to see everything that is on my list. And here I'm like narrowing it down a little bit. It's like either micro adventures or something more memorable, but still like a day trip in this kind of realm, and it's like once a month, or stacking rule, or like doing like one extra stop somewhere else, right? And last year it wasn't that ambitious. It was just looking at one list. It was literally looking at the list. But I didn't even do that because, I don't know, in order to look at the list, you have to have reasons to look at the list. And here I feel like the reasons are there, right? Here it's like a micro adventure. It's like you can, if you're doing something else, you can like reroute, and that's like a successful check into this thing, right? So it's like, it's things that make sense. And then, as my last New Year's resolution, money entrepreneurship. These are kind of like not sure entrepreneurship or money or like, I don't know, projects, right? I'm keeping many things in here, right? I'm still capable of earning outside the job, and more than earning, it's also like, creative, right? I don't know, creative, curious, right? Prove that I can turn an idea into a real world concept. More that, right? Prove that I'm not just thinking of ideas, etc. I'm like, even though I'm working, I'm studying, I'm working on other things, I can still keep a little bit of experimentation. I can still keep a little bit of my unemployed self there, right? I can still have the ideas and put them into practice. So like do one experiment per quarter maybe, and review. It's like, okay, what did I learn? Did I learn from this experiment that it's actually too difficult, that it's more work than I expected? Things like this, right? And those are my New Year's resolutions. Let me know what you think about them in the comments. And yeah, I'll probably link at the end of this video over here, probably something like my past resolutions from last year. So yeah, feel free to watch that if you want. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you, well, not next year. I'm probably going to upload more things, but yeah, these resolutions, I'll see them next year.